more proof of the impact that our campus has. Look at the Maverick Challenge Coin recipients that are featured on our internal website, The Fountain. In every department, individuals go above and beyond to support our students and each other. Their efforts are not only noticed, they're deeply appreciated. More happens here daily than everybody sees, and it remains incredibly important to the work we do. And we're not alone in recognizing the value of our work. For the 5th consecutive year, Minnesota State Mankato has been named Minnesota's best college or university by the Star Tribune. That honor doesn't happen by chance. It reflects the confidence of our alumni, our partners, and our supporters. They believe in our mission and trust us to continue shaping lives and strengthening our communities. That is why it is no surprise that our community, our friends, and alumni contributed to the largest ever year in fundraising, raising more than $34 million last year. What a remarkable achievement. In just 5 years, our university endowment has grown from less than $70 million to over $100 million this year, with most of those funds going towards scholarships and programs to give more students access, more students opportunity, and more students aid. That is an incredible achievement, and it is a testament to what we do every single day. So as we look to the year ahead, we do so with clear eyes and a shared sense of determination. We know this year will not be easy. State funding has decreased. Pressure on our available resources is growing, and we're asking more of ourselves than ever. Despite our challenges, though, we must focus on our mission, our strategic goals, and our objectives. Our strategic plan, Destination 2030, is our dynamic framework that is designed to help us adapt, innovate, and lead with steady resolve. Its first pillar calls on us to be a lifelong provider of accessible and equitable education, and we're taking bold steps to fulfill that promise. For instance, the Division of Academic Affairs has made significant progress on our comprehensive academic plan. This forward-looking framework describes how we will implement our strategic vision, align with our state's emerging opportunities and economic needs, and support our students in achieving their educational goals. It is more than simply a document sitting on a shelf. It is a commitment to being flexible, student-focused, and developing strategies that center on our mission, our institutional goals that quickly adapt to the changing landscape of higher education and the state. It is designed to secure long-term sustainability for our university. We're also taking tangible steps to support students' timely graduation and reduce long-term debt. For example, this year the university is shifting from its traditional 12 to 18 credit undergraduate banded tuition model to a new 13 plus credit structure, and under the new model, students will pay a flat tuition rate starting at 13 credits with any additional credits being available with no additional cost. This change is designed to promote academic momentum and support student success. By averaging 15 credits per semester, undergraduate students are more likely to graduate in 4 years, saving both time and money and reducing their overall debt. We're working to strengthen transfer pathways to ensure students experience a smooth transition to our university, regardless of their starting point. We're expanding partnerships with community colleges, tribal colleges, and regional employers to make education more adaptable and responsive to the needs of our region and our state. These efforts and more reflect our broader commitment to ensure that every student choosing Minnesota State Mankato has a chance to succeed no matter their background or their circumstances. When we prioritize access and opportunity, we don't just open our doors, we walk alongside our students until they achieve their academic goals. The second pillar of Destination 2030 is our pledge to be a leader in transformational learning. Learning that inspires action and equips students to make an immediate impact in their communities and their careers. This commitment is not new. Our academic community has long been an innovator, ensuring students gain real-world experience they can use after graduation and build on for a lifetime. That tradition of excellence shines brightly now. There are many examples. Consider, for instance, the School of Applied Agriculture, Food, and Natural Resources, launched last academic year. This school is already building global partnerships and fostering innovative collaborations. Working closely with the Region 9 Development Commission, we're connecting students with leaders in the agricultural industry, ensuring that the next generation of professionals is prepared to lead with knowledge and purpose. We also celebrate the launch of the Rural Behavioral Health Clinic, which was made possible through generous support from our federal and state legislators and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Minnesota. This clinic is more than a community-based outpatient center. It is a groundbreaking academic training site for students in social work, counseling, psychology, nursing, and other related fields. It is the only clinic in the state focused specifically on integrated outpatient mental health services for rural Minnesotans, and it represents an important and powerful intersection of service, education, and innovation, and they're already full. And then there's the Maverick Innovation Gateway. Thanks to our partners at NIDEC, Schwab, and many others, the Gateway is becoming a hub for collaboration between students and regional businesses. It is not simply a place to gather. It is an invitation to come together, to innovate, and to envision what our shared future can be. These initiatives are interconnected. They form part of a larger vision. The comprehensive academic plan includes a specific goal area dedicated to community engagement and active learning. It details key strategies to incorporate experiential learning into all programs and delivery methods, ensuring students relate classroom knowledge to the real-world issues they will confront upon graduation. Beyond programs, transformational education is also profoundly personal. Last week, we held our annual campus retreat. As we do every year, we invited a panel of students to share their experiences, what worked for them, what did not, where should we improve. Each of the 6 students shared the unique path they took to get here. One was an adult learner who's earning her 4-year degree after already having had a successful career in raising a family. Another was an international student who began his his education in Los Angeles, but transferred to a more supportive and welcoming university here. Another was a computer science major who began at another university, but transferred to his hometown university here because we were more welcoming and supportive. All 6 of these individuals discussed their connections with professors, with their advisors, and many other members of the academic community. They talked about how meaningful and impactful those relationships were. They talked about how getting involved with other students and activities was important to their success. It was impossible not to feel immensely proud of the work we do on this campus as they each related their stories from such different perspectives and such different journeys. One story that stood out for me anyway was shared by a disabled submarine veteran who is using his military benefits to earn his degree. Devonte A. McClam, remember the initials, Devonte A. McClam shared his initial worries about being an older student on campus and whether he belonged here. But he recounted in depth what one of his English professors did. An English professor that encouraged him and inspired him, spent time with him, and made him feel not only that he belonged, but that he could achieve. So much so inspiring was that Devonte changed his major to a BFA in creative writing with the goal of becoming a professor who likewise inspires students and helps them see their potential. One day, he hopes to be a professor, and he hopes to not be known as Dr. D, but as Dr. Dam, his initials, right? I thought about doing that once, my initials are ESI, but Dr. Easy doesn't have the same ring to it. So I opted not to go that way. But my point is this, right, is that all of us, our faculty, our advisors, our tutors, our librarians, our groundskeepers, coaches, office assistants, cashiers, everyone, have the opportunity to make meaningful connections with our students that change lives and inspire their actions. That's why we do this work. These students are exactly why we exist, because their stories empower us to do more and to do better. They show that transformational education is not just something we talk about. It is something that we do day in and day out. It is more than what happens in the classroom. It's about what happens when education intersects with purpose and passion, and when students are empowered to lead with all of those. The third pillar of Destination 2030 calls on us to be a community of care, founded on inclusion and belonging and mutual respect. More than simply a statement of principle, it is a call to action that impacts every part of our campus community. This year, we will continue our work on the Moonshot Initiative focused on social and economic mobility for all students. This is a comprehensive initiative aimed at student success, system transformation, and removing barriers that prevent students from reaching their educational goals. Last year, our cross-divisional steering committee and work groups developed 4 strategic initiatives that we will work to implement this year. First, strengthening transfer pathways to ensure that students experience a seamless transition to our institution, regardless of where they began their academic journey. We've already done a lot, and we're going to continue to refine and improve. Second, we will work to reform our hold policies and practices, ensuring that administrative barriers do not unnecessarily delay a student's progress toward their degree. That's important. Third, we will work to create a second chance program for students who've stopped out with credits and often with debt. Nearly 1 million of these students are in Minnesota. We will reach out to them and see how we can help them complete their programs. There is opportunity there. Fourth, developing an integrated, proactive advising model that meets students where they are and provides timely, focused support to help them stay on track. Part of this work involves developing clear academic degree roadmaps that outline course requirements and timelines, giving students a transparent path to on-time graduation. Further, this year we are initiating a campus-wide conversations focused on developing a new strategic enrollment plan. Our student demographics are changing, as is the makeup of our enrollment. The new plan will focus on our learners' needs and program alignment to ensure students can meet their educational goals while addressing the emerging needs of the economy and new opportunities that are available. One of our most immediate priorities this year is digital accessibility. Every one of us has a role to play ensuring that the documents and content we create are accessible by all of our students. That's not only a legal requirement and a key component of the Systems Equity 2030 initiative, it is simply the right thing to do. Resources are available to support this work, including the digital accessibility link at the top of the fountain. I encourage everyone to be proactive as we prepare for the year ahead. So these efforts are not isolated. They're interconnected. They reflect our deep commitment to access, alignment with our region and state's needs, and student success. These initiatives reflect how we live out our values and our mission, and they are how we ensure that every student that walks through our doors feels welcomed, supported, and empowered to thrive. The final pillar of Destination 2030 is our dedication to being flexible and an innovative steward of resources. This involves more than just managing budgets. It requires rethinking how we invest in our mission, create new opportunities, and sustain the work that matters most. So I want to start with gratitude. There is no question that our state budget is stretched thin. And there's no question how hard our state legislators worked to minimize the impact of the state budget and fewer resources for our university and system, even as other sectors of the state's budget face deeper cuts. So thank you. I'm deeply appreciative of that work, and I'm deeply appreciative of the work that the legislature did to approve funding for the replacement of the Taylor Center roof. That is a heavily used signature building for this campus. Having the new roof and not having leaks is huge for us. Yeah. This support is meaningful, and I greatly appreciate it. But I also want to be clear. To my core, I believe the very best investment our state can make for its future is to fully fund the institutions that educate the workforce of tomorrow, foster innovation, and serve as anchors of community growth and stability. Minnesota State Mankato is doing precisely that, building partnerships with industry, working with local agencies, providing professional development for today's workforce, and inspiring the next generation of leaders. 1/3 of our funding comes from the state. The remaining 2/3 comes from tuition predominantly. Those funds are essential for maintaining our momentum, developing cutting-edge programs, and attracting outstanding students, staff, and faculty. Minnesota State Mankato has more than 135,000 living alumni. 85% of them, or 85% of our graduates, live and work in Minnesota. Our graduates, in very meaningful ways, power the state's economy. This university contributes nearly $1 billion each year to the regional economy. But to sustain progress and remain a strong institution, funding needs to keep pace with the demands of enrollment growth, economic opportunities, and workforce needs. Doing less hollows out those elements that have made us successful. For instance, the Armstrong Hall replacement project needs to be a top priority for bonding, and I will continue to advocate for this because of the central needs this campus has. That building was not designed to meet the needs of our students or expectation of employers in a fast-changing economic landscape. Its infrastructure is beginning to fail. This is not just a facilities issue, it is a student success issue. It's a student preparation issue. Armstrong Hall is the academic core of our campus. It houses 40% of all of our courses, and there are no good alternatives if that building is not available. Our strength lies in the relationships and the connections we have with one another, both on and off campus. We see it reflected in the moments when instructors look students in the eye, offer encouragement, and help students find their path. We cannot afford to lose that. We cannot afford to let a failing building undermine the very relationships that define our mission and our success. Now, we're ready to do our part. We also need to work with our state and local partners and ask them to stand with us. For our part, we know it's our responsibility to innovate and diversify our revenue streams and to be very efficient, and we're doing just that. This past fiscal year, we achieved a record-breaking fundraising milestone, as I mentioned earlier. But think about it. 8,376 unique individual donors are the ones that made up the $34 million to fund scholarships, endowments, capital projects, and other vital university needs. That's important. Like the scholarship that Ethan Winters received, each contribution demonstrates our donors' trust in us and their belief in the transformative power of this institution in educating our students. Through the Division of Student Success and Engagement, we're expanding our global influence by investing in asynchronous, non-credit professional development content that will be accessible to a broad audience in many businesses. We're also enhancing our career services, including this fall's launch of Minnesota's largest career fair, which will draw employers from across the Midwest to campus and provide direct pathways to employment for our students. Further, we continue to develop grants for community engagement initiatives in partnership with the Mankato Area Foundation, Greater Mankato Growth, and Region 9. Our University Foundation has also established the Maverick Real Estate Foundation. It's a bold initiative that enables us to accept land donations, creating new opportunities for philanthropic support and long-term investment. It has already begun to receive gifts. So besides pushing forward our long-term strategies, I'm very aware of the need to tackle everyday obstacles and challenges. Those of you that work here are already aware of this. The system-wide rollout of Workday has been challenging. Yes. However, now seriously, I truly appreciate the incredible effort that our teams are making. You all worked really hard last year to get this done, and we're still doing the work on it. But the ripple effects of all of the issues that you have faced with have touched every division, every office, every role, which is why I get, thunderous laughter. But seriously, to those of you that are managing these complexities daily, seen and unseen, that we don't always know about because you're toiling in an office, but I do see cars parked in the parking lot over weekends, so I know. We do see you. We think of you, and we thank you. All that work is what enables us to run in ways that our students are not adversely impacted. We continue working closely with the system office and other campuses to offer input and solutions. We have really good people on this campus who know a lot about how to do this. To everyone involved in this effort, thank you for that too. We have some of our most talented people collaborating with the system office to develop and implement the next generation student module, which will create a more responsive, student-centered infrastructure for the future. I appreciate their efforts on this project. It will make a difference, and getting it done right is hugely important. So for all of you that have worked so hard on the implementation of Workday and are working on the next phase, which will be the student module, thank you. Even with these challenges, though, we have a lot to be proud of. We're still the most efficient degree-producing institution in the Minnesota state system. That is not just a statistic. It reflects your creativity, your grit, and your care. But to be honest, doing more with less is not a long-term strategy for sustainability or success. We need to think differently, not just about what we do, about how we do it. The solution isn't to add more, nor is it sticking to the same ways we've always done things. We must work to identify what we can stop, what we can make more efficient, and how we do our work a little bit differently to adapt to our financial realities. Those conversations will go on this year, partly with the academic planning process and partly with the enrollment management plan. Your voices will help, your insights will shape solution, and your partnerships are crucial. We also understand that innovation must be part of our way forward. We need to keep exploring new revenue streams and stay open to different approaches. That involves embracing change, questioning assumptions, and offering solutions. The next few years are not going to be easy for the state, and the pressure on institutions like ours will likely grow. But I believe we're ready. We've been preparing for it, because we're not just reacting to the change, we are leading it and getting in front of it. And that is what we are doing together. So I began today with Ethan's story because it's a powerful example of our impact on the world. Just one story, but it is illustrative of the work we do day in and day out. Dr. Dam's story is one of the power of relationships and the belief in the potential of our students. And one day, because of our work, they and others that leave here with a degree will spark others. That's the ripple effect of our university and the people who work here. That's the legacy we create. One student, one story, one inspired action at a time. As we begin this new year, I ask you to lead with belief. Believe in our students, they'll achieve. Believe in each other and support one another. Believe in the power of what we do, it does make a difference. And believe in the transformational changes that come about when we work together. Thank you, and go Mavs.
Thank you, President Inch. And now please welcome our Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. David Hood.
Ditto to everything that President Inch and Andrew said. I think they were inside my computer reading my speech. Good morning, Mavericks. Dwayne, thank you for the introduction. Faculty, staff, and students, cabinet colleagues, and extended members of the Mav fam. It is wonderful to see you here today. President Inch, thank you for highlighting and sharing Ethan Winter's story with us. In 2022, just 46 days into my assignment here at Minnesota State University, Mankato, I stood here and challenged the university to become a transfer-friendly institution, to support student success by becoming a high-impact university, and to recommit to Equity 2030. And I closed that speech by inviting everyone to sign up for one of those 3 priority areas outlined in my speech, and to commit to making one meaningful connection with the student. There's no better example of the powerful of meaningful connections than the individual actions of Ethan's high school teacher, Zach, and his advisors and faculty members at South Central College and here at Minnesota State University, Mankato. As a campus, we continue to embrace change as we evolve into becoming the transfer-friendly institution campus that I described to you in 2022. Did you know that the work of staff, faculty, and administrators on the Transfer Working Group has led to the university and its community college partners being awarded its second Tackling Transfer grant for $250,000. This funding will continue to fuel the work that is happening on this great university. In April, we hosted our first Transfer Summit where 125 faculty, staff, and administrators from South Central College and Riverland Community College engaged in enriching dialogue and exchanged best practices to better serve our transfer population. And these efforts are having impact. For the second consecutive year, transfer enrollment is improving with a 6% year-over-year increase with 993 new first-time transfer students enrolled for this fall semester. You should give yourselves a round of applause. During my second Convocation speech address in 2023, I gave you a glimpse into my personal life, and I shared my journey with Eric as we wrestled with the change of embracing a multi-generational household. I reminded us that change is a constant presence. Change is not something that we as individuals or a collective campus community should ever reject. Thoughtful change that is informed and powered by dialogue represents a living organism, something that is growing. I highlighted the ongoing conversations that were happening nationally in higher education about how we will both embrace and question innovations such as AI to advance our core mission of teaching and learning. I'm ecstatic to report to you that Minnesota State University Mankato is responding to those questions, launching a new Master's of Science in Artificial Intelligence and a Bachelor's of Science in Robotics Engineering. Both degree programs are the first of their kind in Minnesota and position our institution to attract and train the next generation of socially responsible leaders in the fields who can make legal and ethical applications. As we embarked upon last academic year, I asked each member of the community to commit to actively engaging and working across the institution to evaluate and redesign those systems, processes, programs that are no longer achieving the desired outcomes for which they were initially created. This commitment to continuous improvement, it is a core principle of our 10-year assurance argument for the Higher Learning Commission. Thank you, Jennifer, for your work. It is extremely complex, but necessary. It requires thoughtful and honest analysis, reflection, and dialogue about practices, programs, and systems. Reimagining the unknown, the tried and true, is unsettling and oftentimes very uncomfortable. It is important for me to name and acknowledge the range of emotions that many in our community may have felt or experienced as we engaged in the critical review of our academic portfolio, or as the university took its initial steps in designing a zero-based positional budget. And many of you accepted this challenge and started reimagining your own work. In response to new requirements to have a master's degree as a dietitian, the Department of Family and Consumer Science launched an accelerated bachelor's to master's degree that incorporates 1,000 hours of required field experience. Students complete 3 years of their undergraduate coursework, and during their senior year, they complete the first year of graduate study, which accelerates their time to degree and professional license to 5 years instead of 6. This unique program is attractive to students, and they have already attained their enrollment targets. As President Inch highlighted earlier, cross-divisional teams, best practice action teams at the university also last year engaged in launching Moonshot for Social and Economic Mobility that guided our community in examining our practices in the critical areas of whole reforms, proactive advising, access to a second chance, and transfer pathways. Our engagement in Moonshot provides our university with access to a national community of learners that in some instances validated many of the amazing existing best practices, and it also illustrated areas of opportunity for future work for us. The aforementioned examples are all reminders of the meaningful and impactful work that occurs daily across this great university. Often, these discrete projects and initiatives might appear to be disconnected from a larger institutional context. However, they are each critical building blocks for Minnesota State University Mankato, being a lifelong provider of equitable education, a leader in transformational learning, a community of care built upon foundational values of inclusion and belonging, and a nimble and innovative steward of our resources. Today, I'm excited to introduce to you our comprehensive academic plan. It is a blueprint that will guide Minnesota State University Mankato into its next chapter. The plan is not just a document, it is a living commitment shaped by the voices of faculty, staff, and students that places equity, innovation, and student success at the heart of everything we do. It is organized into 4 interconnected goal areas: academic program development and portfolio management, where we will ensure our programs remain student-centered, forward-looking, and financially sustainable. Community context, where we will deepen our partnerships locally and globally, connecting classroom learning with real-world challenges. And student experience and pedagogies, where we will expand high-impact practices, reduce barriers to success, and create pathways that are inclusive, supportive, and affordable. And finally, faculty, staff engagement and support, where we will invest in your professional growth, well-being, and the recognition of remarkable contributions you are already making. The action steps is where the comprehensive academic plan will come alive. And this year, our work will especially be focused in Goal Area 1. We will strengthen the way we design and manage curriculum and our programs, from refining curriculum development and approval processes to ensuring every credential we award carries the highest value for our students. We will also expand the ways in which we recognize prior learning so that every Maverick gets credit for the knowledge they bring with them. In Goal Area 2, we will build on our role as a partner to the community, inventorying and amplifying high-impact practices and making sure the voices of faculty, staff, and students are part of shaping enrollment strategies that serve both the university and the region. In Goal Area 3, we will sharpen our focus on student success. This means using data to close equity gaps, improving advising and academic support, expanding textbook affordability, and elevating the quality of online teaching and learning. These are concrete and immediate ways we can ensure that every student, no matter their background, has an opportunity to succeed here. And in goal area 4, we will turn that same energy inward to our faculty and staff. We will invest in mentorship and professional development and in celebrating scholarship and creativity that already is elevating our university's profile. Because when we support and recognize our people, we multiply the impact we can have on our students. Mavericks, this plan only works if it becomes our plan. Each one of you plays a role, whether it is rethinking how a course is designed, whether it is rethinking how we mentor our colleagues, whether it is supporting a student through advising or building a bridge into the community. If we lean into these actions together, the results will not just be incremental improvements, they will be transformational. So let's move forward with confidence, with courage, and with care. The comprehensive academic plan is our blueprint, but you are the builders. Together, we will create the future of Minnesota State University, Mankato. Go Mavs.
Thank you, Provost Hood, and that concludes our 2025 Convocation program. Thank you for all joining us this morning, and we hope to see you all at the annual barbecue lunch today from 11:30 to 1 on Mav Ave in the Centennial Student Union. Here's to a successful year. Go Mavs!